Hello Hell Let Loose fans, in this video I'll be running through the key things which have now been added to Hell Let Loose in patch 17.1. Bipods have finally got some much needed attention. The whole system of bipod deployment has been overhauled. According to developers, this will enable more flexible and realistic movement for MG players when deploying their bipods. Team 17 said the system now detects objects in the player's deployed path rather than relying on hard-coded limits. This reduces instances of clipping into static objects, and deployment inside of objects is no longer possible. Pitch angles now reflect their height of the surface, allowing a wider range of weapon rotation, meaning you can aim lower from low surfaces and higher from elevated ones. Server-side checks now ensure valid deployment surfaces, fixing issues where deployment would cancel mid-animation. Standing and crouching now share the same deployment limit, eliminating the need to change stances to check for valid deployment surfaces properly. Here you can see some comparisons to how MGs behaved before the patch and how they behave now. Movement appears to be much less restricted in terms of your range of motion and your ability to get angles and shoot from elevated positions. Seems much improved with the new update. From this it looks like MGs are going to be a lot more viable. Can't wait to try it out in game. Another area of the game which is getting reworked is the medic role. Basically, medics are getting buffed. Medics revive players to full HP when they revive down players, so there won't be a need to bandage after they're being rezzed. Bandaging speed is now just 2 seconds. This also applies to self-bandaging for medics. Revive speeds for all factions is also just 2 seconds. The XP earned per revive for medics has been increased from 30 to 75 XP points, and getting revived by medics also earns 75 XP rather than 30 as it was before. Patch 17.1 also introduces the medic call and response system, a two-way feature that allows down players to request a revive. When downed, players can now request a medic using the ping keypad. For me, that's my middle mouse button, and the UI will update to confirm that this request has been sent. Medics can then use the radial ping marker system to let players know that they're on their way, and new icons have been added to the game to facilitate this feature. Medics are also getting buffs to the loadouts across all the factions. Basically, the standard loadouts are getting more ammo and for their primary weapon, and the other loadouts are getting more smoke grenades. One of the quality of life improvements which I'm personally glad to see are the improvements to barbed wire LODs. Anyone who has played Hell Let Loose and looked across battlefields with long sightlines would have no doubt seen this ugly ass way that the game renders barbed wire at long distances. While the devs have taken steps to address this visual issue, which can be a real immersion killer, nobody wants to see these lumpy barbed wire assets or potato buildings at long distances. Team 17 said their technical art team has begun to address these LOD related issues, including abrupt LOD transitions, inconsistent screen size thresholds, uneven triangle density, and large assets using too few LODs. And their initial focus is on barbed wire assets, as you can see from patch 17.1, but they are working on LOD issues for other objects and structures in the game. When I tested this on Quarantine, it seemed that the solution is to just remove the LODs until you get quite close to the barbed wire, which is a solution, I guess. It gets rid of that ugly looking blobby shit on the screen, but I don't know if that's what players want, especially when there's going to be other players interacting with these obstacles, with these walls, with the barbed wire, and if they don't pop up until you're close, it's going to be a little bit of an issue when it comes to gameplay. You know, you're going to be shooting at a target and wondering why they're not going down. It's because they're behind an invisible wall that you can't see at this moment. Hopefully they can address this in the future and make it a bit better so it works properly. Another addition with patch 17 is the new ability to continue speaking with your squad and the leadership VOIP chat at the end of the match. This means you'll be able to talk to your squad, and if you're a commander or squad leader, you'll be able to speak with other squad leaders at the end of each game. But don't worry, there will be a mute all button available in case some idiot starts screaming racial slurs or other nonsense. Team 17 have also been looking at changes to the fog settings on existing night maps. Upon review, they decided that Kharkov, St. Mary de Mont, Drayel, Quarantine, St. Mary Eglise, Utah Beach and Stalingrad were, quote, excessively foggy. So in patch 17.1, the intensity of the fog on those night maps has been reduced, as you can see from these before and after screenshots. The most notable effect this will have will be that sightlines on those maps will be increased. The fog level on other night maps have been unchanged for now. Snow camo for vehicles are also coming to all the existing snow maps. Winter-themed vehicle camo was first introduced with Elsenborn Ridge, the newest snow map in the game, but now vehicles for all sides on Foy, Kharkov will also have winter paint jobs to help them blend into their winter conditions. Other improvements for the maps coming with this patch is the introduction of dynamic weather effects like rain, snow and sandstorms to all the relevant maps. Team 17 said dynamic weather has been integrated to several legacy maps. The technical art team is currently evaluating appropriate lighting weather conditions to incorporate effects such as snow, rain and sandstorms across the aforementioned maps. The new weather manager allows each map to deliver a distinct and immersive experience due to its flexibility. Tobruk has also been given some TLC. The environment art team have made some visual improvements to the building exterior textures to add more bullet and shrapnel damage, giving the town a sort of more war-torn look. They've also said they're adding more ground clutter and updating the building interiors where possible without affecting performance to make the map feel more real and lived in. Another interesting change is the ability for server owners to have more control over how long matches last across various game modes. Server owners will have the ability to set the overall match timer within the following ranges based on game mode. Warfare, which has a current time limit of 90 minutes, has now been given a range of possibility between 30 and 180 minutes. Offensive, its current timer is 150 minutes, and will have a range between 50 and 300 minutes. And Control Skirmish, which has a current overall time limit of 30 minutes, will have a time range now of 10 to 60 minutes. The devs noted that the new timer for the offensive game mode is effectively divided by 5 for each capture point phase. So for example, a match timer of 300 minutes would give the capture point a whopping 1 hour time limit for each capture point. Personally, I don't fancy a 5-hour offensive game mode, that's a bit insane, but each to their own. Server owners will also get the ability to change the timer limit for the warm-up period for Warfare and Control Skirmish game modes. Both currently set at 3 minutes and will have a new range of between 1 and 10 minutes each. Update 17.1 also come with a new DLC package, Operation Overlord. This comes with Field Division uniforms, which has a helmet and actual uniform. The US get 5th Rangers, 2 types of helmets, there's just different decals on them. The Germans also get the Russian Liberation Army cosmetics, which have a cap and uniform. And as I said, the Germans also get the Field Division uniform and camouflaged helmet. This DLC also comes with new heads for the Americans and the Germans. Germans get 2 new guys, Frederick and Nikolai, and the Americans get a new head called Gordon. Some other changes worth noting with update 17.1 is the increased XP for destroying spawns. Team 17 said that previously players received a base reward of just 5 XP toward their level and role for destroying an enemy spawn. However, there was also no way to differentiate between destroying or dismantling, and since dismantling an enemy spawn is a riskier move, it did not have a suitable reward of XP to reflect this, and this has now been addressed by the following XP buffs. So destroying spawns, a garrison, forward position will give you 100 XP, destroying an airhead or an outpost, an airhead will give you 150 XP, an outpost 50 XP, and destroying nodes will give 100 XP. However, dismantling a garrison will give you 150 XP, dismantling a forward position would give you 150 XP, dismantling an airhead would give you 200 XP, and dismantling nodes will give you 150 XP. And when it comes to nodes, engineers can now dismantle their own nodes once they're built. And in addition, friendly commanders and officers can also take down friendly nodes if need be. But no other roles can currently dismantle friendly nodes. And I think that about just covers it. If there's anything I've missed, you can check it out in the official changelog in the dev brief, which I'll link in the description below. But if you found this informative, like the video and follow for more Hell Let Loose news.